Hello, this is Miss Gregory. Welcome to 6th grade math test review for mid-chapter 7, lesson 7-1 through 7-3. Don't forget, write down what's written on the screen on your notebook paper. Here's a reminder again, you need your workbook, notebook paper, pencil. Copy everything. If I write it, it's important. Thanks, guys. What will I learn today? We are reviewing the essential question, how to write and solve addition and subtraction equations. Okay, here is an example of a pretty easy problem to solve. Remember, your goal is to isolate the variable, in this case r. We want r all by itself. You guys are supposed to start drawing a line down the middle of the equal sign. You have to perform inverse operations. So instead of subtracting 119, you would do the opposite, which means you're going to add 119. You need to make sure you do that to both sides of the equation, left side and right side. We talked about having balanced equations. Then you need to make sure that the two numbers make a zero pair and that you cancel them out. Now you can see you have the variable r isolated, all by itself on the left side. Now you're left with the right side and you need to perform the addition. So you've got 9 plus 0, you've got 7 plus 1, and you've got 1. So your answer should be r equals 189. But you guys are not done because you must show me the check as proof that your answer is correct. So you want to rewrite the original equation, r minus 119 equals 70. You want to substitute the value you think r is, in this case 189 minus 119, and at this point you're still really asking yourself, does it equal 70? It's your job to find out. Okay, if you go ahead and do your subtraction, 9 minus 9 is 0. 18 minus 11 is 70. So you are now able to prove that both sides have the same number 70 and they check, they balance. The solution r equals 189 is the correct solution for this equation. Okay, make sure you've copied everything down on the slide. Pause the video if you need to until you get it copied, and I'm going to move on. We are talking about lesson 7-1, finding the solution for an equation. Here's the deal though. You must show me proof, not just mental math. I want to know which one works and prove to me that the others don't work. Here's an example that was on the exit ticket we did in class. Directions came straight from homework questions that had been worked during the week. You were to identify the solution of each equation. 29 plus d equals 54. Your choices were 24, 25, and 26. I took a picture of the answer key that I made. I plugged in 29 plus 24. I'm asking, does it equal 54? When I add 29 plus 24, I get 53, which does not equal 54. So no, 24 is not a solution. Then I tried the next option, 25. 29 plus 25 does equal 54. You can check that on both sides, see that it balances, and it is the correct solution. I also worked out 26 to prove that it does not work, but wasn't able to capture it in my screenshot. But you are to substitute the values to prove the solution. Okay? Copy everything, pause the video, then move when you're ready. Lesson 7-2. Solve addition equations. Always, always, you must show me the work, which means your steps. The steps are you have to perform the inverse operation in order to isolate the variable. Okay. Again, this is a question from the exit ticket, which was actually a homework problem that we worked during the week and went over the answer in class. So highlighted here is find the error. We always do the find the error problems to make sure you truly understand the concept. So Elisa is explaining how to solve the equation d minus 6 equals 4. You are asked to find her mistake and to correct it. Again, in the screenshot it was cut off, but she is saying that in order to solve the problem you should subtract 6 from each side. However, that is not correct. That is the error. She should not subtract from each side. She should do inverse operations, meaning she should actually add 6 to both sides. Most of you got this question correct and did very well with it, but moving on, I'll show how to solve the solution. And here's the actual work. This was something in addition that I showed to prove that I corrected the mistake. So adding 6 to both sides cancels out. On the left side you have a 0 pair, so you have d equals 10. Okay. Again, highlighted here, you must do the inverse operation, and you must do the same thing to both sides. If you add 6 to the left side, then you also have to add 6 to the right side. Make sure you have the correct answer copied. Pause if you need to. We're also working on lesson 7-3, solve subtraction equations. Same rules apply. You must perform the inverse operation to isolate the variable, and always, always show your work. Okay? An example from the exit ticket from class. Again, all 3 questions were chosen from homework problems that had been worked in class. Solve each equation, which for me means you must show me the steps. It also asks for you to show the check of your solution. So, on the left side, you can see where I solved the equation. I showed with the fractions, instead of adding 1/10 to both sides, you need to subtract 1/10 from both sides. Make a 0 pair. You've got 5/10 minus 1/10. Since they have common denominators, it's easy. You can go ahead and subtract. You get a equals 4/10. Technically, we have been reminding you that the book will want you to always simplify fractions, even if it's not so stated in the directions, and we did talk about this while you were taking the exit ticket. So as you can see, 4/10, they're both even numbers. I can still divide by 2. 4/10 would be simplified to 2/5. That should be your final answer. However, if you notice my check off to the side, you can see that I left 4/10 when I plugged it into the check. That's because that way they have the same denominator. 4/10 plus 1/10 equals 5/10. You can prove that and show that the equation is balanced on both sides. That's your proof. That's your check. You know you've got the correct answer. If you ever do the check and you aren't getting the balance, the check on both sides, that's when you know you've made a mistake, and you must go back and try to find your mistake, because you can always get equation questions correct if you perform your check. Pause if you need to copy anything else down. And now you are ready to pass this math test on Tuesday like a boss. Thank you very much. See ya.